Nearly 6 weeks ago I tried to run 500 miles and, as we know, did a stress fracture and we had to drop out 106 miles in after walking for a day and a half. So what is next? Right now I'm going to finish my bike session and then I'm going to tell you. So we have finished the bike session. Sweaty, everything on a bike is sweaty, and especially doing it in the house, but I seem to get on better in the flat training on the bike than I do in the gym anyway. So yeah, today's video I thought I would talk a little about what's next, how I'm doing, what I've kind of been feeling like since coming back from the NC, because it's obviously such a big adjustment. And then I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what my plans are for the future. So if you are new to my channel, I am an ultra runner. I am an online coach for runners and all kind of training, qualified PT, I'll have you know. So if anybody is looking for online coaching, please do hit me up. And I have a spider outside my window, which is really stressing me out right now. Okay, so life has been tough since coming back from the North Coast 500, to be honest. It has not been easy. It has been mentally and physically really tough, and it's given me so much time to think and reflect though. So there is so many things that I have learned, and I am trying to be really positive about the whole thing, but I also am trying to be real and let myself feel negative emotions as well, because I have a tendency to be like, right, well, it's fine, let's move on to the next thing, or okay, well, these are all like X, Y, and Z things that I've learned, it's really good, these are like, probably I am high risk of toxic positivity a lot of the time, and I don't then let myself feel the negative emotions the way I should, or the way that is most productive to moving forwards, because you have to feel the negative emotions. But I just tend to go oh well, actually I learned all these things and that's really good. So it's been tough, it's not been easy, and I am now at the stage where I am trying to move forwards. We are 6 weeks, we're nearly 6 weeks post coming back from the North Coast. 6 weeks today since I started it, to be fair. Sad times. And it's just been so different to what I thought it would be. And I want to share these things because I do feel that it's important to be transparent. Originally I had said I would be really happy doing the North Coast 500 without putting it on social media, doing and not having it there at all, having no pressure, nobody knowing, just doing it for me essentially. And throughout putting it on social media, throughout the journey, I've realised that actually it's really important to share these things, and that is where you get the connection, the sense of community, and yeah, where that all comes from. So basically now I'm going to share everything. Not quite everything, but obviously going to have some private life. But I want to share a lot more because I do think so much of it's not spoken about online as well. And it has been tough because coming back, I thought I'd kind of seen people on social media, etc., do massive challenges, be successful. Obviously, you don't really hear about the ones that aren't successful, shock, and then have all these opportunities. And I think part of me kind of thought, well, maybe I'll make some money. Out of talking about my experience and kind of using it as a springboard essentially to boost my career, maybe get sponsorship, etc. You can't let yourself think what if it goes wrong, because you can't start an event like I did with the thought that it could go wrong, because then it's just you're not going to do it. Obviously, you know that there's risks, you know the injury risk is there, and I think the frustration for me was that I do still think that I had the physical fitness, it's just my body wasn't strong enough. And I know that that's a juxtaposition, but I do feel like I've had worse DOMs from a leg day. I had worse DOMs from a few days ago on a hilly bike session. You know, I came home and I was genuinely fine apart from the injury, which makes the whole thing more frustrating, because it's I don't feel like I was at full capacity. I didn't push my limits. I did to an extent, but not in the way that I had envisioned I would be pushing my limit. So even that's different. And then the kind of come down, I knew it would drop, but I had also put in my kind of plan thing of what happens on the come down of after an event like this as well. That's where you really build on the PR. That's where you go into trying to do the podcasts, doing the interviews, trying to speak to brands more. And there was obviously the two aspects of that for me would have been talking about females in ultra running and in sport in general, and speaking about autism and ADHD. So I had these two things I wanted talk about and get messages out there. And, you know, I had all this that I really wanted to talk about and that I thought would be where I would go with this, and it wasn't. Like, you just get let, and it's not that, it's just the reality of sport. Like, if you don't succeed in something, it's just like, okay, like, nobody cares, and that's fine. Like, it's just the things that I wanted to speak about, then I never got the opportunity to speak about. And also then it just meant I had not free time, because I fill my time. I'm classic at filling my time. But it just made it really quite overwhelming of like, oh, this is not how I thought. And I do know logically and rationally that if I had succeeded, it would have been completely different. But that's also okay. But yeah, so now for me, it's thinking, well, I realise how much that all kind of means to me. And well, how do I achieve that then? How do I actually go and build this platform, and how much running means to me? Like, I realise also being autistic, like, I never thought I could be autistic because I didn't have a special interest. Turns out that special interest is running. And it became the North Coast 500. And within like obviously that time frame, two of my special interests were like not taken away, but like they weren't there anymore. So that really made me lose a lot of myself and made me revert back to a previous special interest I probably had, which I will talk more eventually about. But, you know, it's all these kind of little aspects that can never get spoken about, maybe until people are successful. And yeah, maybe I will do it again. And I'll get the record. We'll see. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It's all up in the air. But, you know, now it's thinking, well, what do I do moving forward? Where do I go? Not just with running, but with everything. What's next? Here's what's next. So, what is next? Number 1, running goals. Racing in January, 100 miler. I want to perform. I want to perform well. I want to put a really good elite performance down, because that is how, well, that's just what I want to do. I want to perform. I want to be a good runner. I want to know what I can do. My goal is training. My goal is performance. And that in turn keeps my body and my brain healthy. Again, something I will speak about at some point, but that is how right now I become the healthiest, strongest version of myself, is by having a race to race for, having something to train for, purpose, going and doing what I want to do and be the best I can at what I do. Maybe we have a little bit of a race before then, because January seems a long way off. And yesterday I was chatting and chatting through like just kind of some of the struggles I'm having just now with training and with feeling and all these kind of issues. And at the end of the conversation, we were speaking, do a little summary of what we're chatting about. And she was like, I need to get a base booked in. And she was like, and you smiled there when you said that. And I was like, oh, so I did smile at that. Like, racing or not even racing. Like, I actually don't like racing other people. Like, no sir, no thank you, not a fan. But I like racing myself, and I like pushing myself. And the best way to push yourself there is in a race, usually. I do. So, it's just, that is the next thing, is get my body where I can race, then get a race booked in, and then go and use it as a practice, hopefully like use it as a practice race for January, so I get more experience. So that is running. However, goals within that running is I would love to obviously get a sponsorship, with brand deals and stuff. So for me, I know that you have to be excellent, and I'm not there yet. I'm fine. I'm all right, but I'm not, like, you're just not going to get a brand deal or a brand sponsorship. Like, I could not just go up to a brand and be like, excuse me, would you like to sponsor me? Because they're just going to be like, who are you? Like, you're nobody. And that's fine. That's the sport. That is fine. Like, that is just me being completely real and completely like, yeah, like, there's no point in me kidding myself. Like, I'm not good enough yet for that. There's no chance. And I don't know if I ever will be good enough. But what I can do is show potential, and maybe I could get it as a content creator. So number 2 will be content. So bear with me. I'm really trying, guys. So that'll be goal 2 with running, is sponsorship with maybe some content creation, trying connecting with other creators, other runners, etc. Because I know I don't do that because it's so out of my comfort zone. I am very much an introvert. As much as it may seem I like to chat, I do like to chat, but I'm an introvert. That's why I don't thrive. I don't push those massive things out of my comfort zone, and I need to be able to create the opportunities to push my comfort zones. So that is something I will be really working on, because I also know that my content is chaotic, because my brain is chaotic, because probably I have ADHD. Well, I don't probably have ADHD. I got a diagnosis of ADHD. So that is chaos. There is just so many ideas in here that just go bam, 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 and I don't know what to do with them all. So I'm hoping to start working with a kind of management company, and hopefully we will have a content plan, which is exciting. And it's all these aspects of just like, I'm just chipping away in the background, doing the work in the background, and fingers crossed we get somewhere. So running, race, sponsorship. I want to try and get on a race team. I have one in mind, but we'll see. I need to obviously put the performances in, because you can't be on a race team, like an elite race team, if you are not putting in the performances. So I've got one race. Get on the race start line, because obviously I haven't raced at all this year because everything was focused on the NC. So I want to race and get on the start line, but really put in good performances. And my aim is to get on a race team and to go on a training camp. I don't know what kind of training camp, where that'll be. I just think it would be so cool. And yeah, I mean, obviously I have massive imposter syndrome about all this, but I have to dream, I have to go big, because otherwise, like, what's the point? And weirdly, a lot of people were saying to me, like, oh, it was amazing that, you know, you done the NC knowing that you probably would fail. And I was like, I don't mind failing, it's not, but weirdly, like, that feels less daunting when I've got a tangible goal that you can't, like, obviously you can compare it to records and stuff, but when it's talking about like, oh, I would love to go on a training camp, or I'd love to like get sponsored or stuff, that's more comparison with other people, and that's where the imposter syndrome comes in. Whereas like with the NC, I was just like, yeah, why not? Like, it's not big. It was a massive deal, obviously, but I weirdly didn't feel like I probably had the same imposter syndrome. I did when there was like people supporting me, when I got like my team and everything. That was massive. But actually thinking about doing it, I was just like, it's just, you know, I'm just gonna try and run 500 miles. Like, it's not a big deal. It's weird how the brain works and how it all comes together. But yeah, so that is the plan for all that. And then yeah, to hopefully just try and maybe start to do a bit more talking, a bit more speaking. Obviously I'm still chipping away at uni. I'm nearly qualified as a counsellor though. We're nearly there, team. Oh. However, I am now applying for a master's because I am obviously a glutton for punishment. Because yeah, why not? But again, that will depend on if I get accepted or not. It is a very competitive course, so we will see. Yeah, that's kind of my update.